President Trump unveils a $25 billion plan for a U.S. defense system. A bomb plot is stopped at Lady Gaga's concert in Rio. One TikTok singing cardinal is shaking up the papal race. Yes, really. Speaking of TikTok, will it be saved by June's deadline? And here's today's trivia question. Who was the first pope? I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Monday, May 5th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning and happy Cinco de Mayo. By the way, if you are wondering, we're still in the top 100 on Apple Podcasts, but we cannot continue to climb without your help. So keep sharing, reviewing, and rating because it goes a long way. I hope you had a great weekend. It's time to get back to business, so let's take off with the three biggest headlines of the day. First, President Trump is proposing a $25 billion budget to kickstart development of a new U.S. missile defense system dubbed the Golden Dome, inspired by Israel's Iron Dome. It's part of a larger GOP-led effort to boost Pentagon funding by $150 billion. The plan is already sparking debate in Congress, especially from the Democratic side, over the potential involvement of Elon Musk and SpaceX in building the new system. Next, Brazilian police say they stopped a planned bombing at Lady Gaga's free concert in Rio de Janeiro over the weekend. The show drew more than 2 million people to the Copacabana beach. 2 people, though, are now in custody, including a teenager. And authorities say the plot was linked to an extremist group recruiting online to carry out attacks with explosives. Lady Gaga said she only found out about the threat after the concert had ended from the media, not Rio de Janeiro police. And finally, as the Vatican prepares for Wednesday's papal conclave, 2 names are dominating headlines: Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin and Filipino Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, who's gone viral on TikTok for singing the song Imagine by John Lennon. The video sparked both praise and criticism, with the hashtag TagleCore now trending among younger Catholics. Prediction marks are heating up as over $4 million have been wagered on who will become the next pope. Yes, people are actually voting on it. You can see the list of papal frontrunners on today's email edition of the Flyover. By the way, if you're not a subscriber, it takes 2 seconds and it's free. Head on over to jointheflyover.com. Let's take a look at what's happening in politics today. President Trump made headlines over the weekend by clarifying that he will not seek a third term. He said his earlier comments were simply a tactic to bait what he calls the fake news media and not a genuine signal of future plans. Under current U.S. law, of course, presidents are limited to 2 terms, but Trump's wording had sparked a wave of speculation. Meanwhile, more details are coming out about last week's firing of former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Senior Trump officials now say his removal was partly tied to his behind-the-scenes coordination with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. The goal? Allegedly forming a plan to use military force to eliminate Iran's nuclear arsenal, something that reportedly blindsided parts of the administration. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott signed into law the largest school voucher program in the country. The new legislation will allocate $1 billion in public funds over the next 2 years, allowing all 5.3 million K-12 students in the state to use taxpayer money for private school tuition. Supporters are calling it a win for school choice, while critics argue it will drain resources from public schools. Also making headlines, a new study by the Media Research Center found that 92% of media coverage of President Trump's first 100 days was negative. The findings are being widely shared in conservative circles as further evidence of media bias, though critics point out that the center itself is a conservative watchdog group. We are brought to you today by Fatty 15. Have you ever thought about what really causes aging? It turns out it starts with our cells. And when they break down, everything from our sleep to our energy, mood, and even joint function can suffer. Scientists have recently discovered the first essential fatty acid in over 90 years. It's called C15, and low levels of it may actually speed up cellular aging. In fact, 1 in 3 people may be dealing with something called cellular fragility syndrome, a newly identified nutritional deficiency linked to fragile aging cells. Fatty 15 is a pure vegan-friendly C15 supplement developed alongside researchers from the U.S. Navy. It's clinically shown to improve cholesterol, liver, and gut health, and even red blood cell function, often in just a few weeks. And 72% of users report feeling noticeable improvements in sleep, joint health, and mood within 16 weeks. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help you live healthier, longer. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/flyover15 and using code flyover15 at checkout. Or all that information is on the link in the description below. Still to come, TikTok is approaching its June 19th deadline, but will President Trump save it? An encouraging update from the fan who fell from the baseball stands, and a new discovery that looks into why you feel like your workout dragged on forever. It's all coming up. Here's some financial updates for you. After more than 6 decades at the helm, Warren Buffett has announced he'll step down as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway at the end of 2025. The 94-year-old investing icon will pass the torch to Vice Chairman Greg Abel, who's been long expected to succeed him. Buffett says the company is in, quote, strong hands and plans to stay involved in a smaller role. In social media news, President Trump is reportedly considering a third extension to the TikTok divestment deadline. Without a sale by June 19th, the app could face a full U.S. ban. The White House has said the ball is now in the court of ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, and that national security remains the top concern. And Apple is shaking things up in a big way. Starting in 2026, the tech giant will stagger its iPhone launches throughout the year instead of dropping all models at once in the fall. This shift is tied to the highly anticipated release of the first foldable iPhone, which is expected to debut as part of the iPhone 18 lineup. I'm sorry, are we going back to flip phones? Let's take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. The Los Angeles Dodger fans have a new reason to cheer because star pitcher Roki Sasaki, the 22-year-old sensation signed from Japan this offseason, just notched his first career MLB win over the weekend. Sasaki, known for his blistering fastball and pinpoint control, was one of the most anticipated international signings of the year, and he's already showing signs of living up the hype. On the tennis court, Naomi Osaka is back in the winner's circle. The 4-time Grand Slam champion captured her first WTA title since becoming a mom in July of 2023. It's been a steady climb for Osaka since returning to the tour, and this win marks a huge milestone in her comeback journey, both professionally and personally. And there's some encouraging news following that scary incident in Pittsburgh. The fan who fell over 20 feet during Wednesday's Pirates game is now awake and alert for the first time since the accident. No word yet on the extent of his injuries, but it's a hopeful update after a very frightening moment at the ballpark. Let's dive into some fascinating science stories making headlines today. First up, astronomers are revisiting the idea that our solar system may actually have a 9th planet. It's nicknamed Planet 9, and this mysterious object is thought to be about the size of Neptune, but orbits so far from the sun that a single trip could take around 10,000 to 20,000 years. Researchers haven't directly observed it yet, but the gravitational effects on nearby objects suggest something big might be lurking in the outer reaches of our solar system. Meanwhile, in Japan, scientists have built a prototype drone that could one day harness lightning and convert it into clean energy. The drone works by releasing a small charge into a cloud to trigger a lightning strike, then capturing the resulting burst of power. It's still in the early days, but the potential applications are pretty electrifying. Pun intended. And if you've ever felt like your workout was just dragging on forever, there's now a science to back it up. I wish I had this information years ago with my coaches. A new study just found that exercise actually alters your perception of time. After just a short ride on a stationary bike, for example, participants estimated 30 seconds passed much faster than it actually did, suggesting that physical activity really can make time feel like it's speeding up. Now it's time for the Rotator, and today we look at what's happening beyond our borders. We start in the Middle East, where a Houthi-fired missile struck Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv early Sunday, wounding 6 people. Both Israeli and U.S. missile defense systems failed to intercept the strike, raising new questions about regional security and defense preparedness. In Asia, Chinese President Xi Jinping is heading to Moscow this week for a high-profile state visit from May 7th to 10th. He'll also attend Russia's annual Victory Day parade on May 9th, which commemorates the end of World War II. The trip signals ongoing alignment between Beijing and Moscow during a time of heightened global tension. And in the world of art and controversy, nearly 1,800 ancient jewels believed to be linked to the remains of the Buddha are going up for auction at Sotheby's in Hong Kong. While the auction house says everything has been legally vetted, critics argue that these sacred relics belong in a spiritual or cultural institution, not on the auction block. Coming up, a missing woman has been found after 60 years. The answer to yesterday's poll, which is, which TV game show would you most likely to be a contestant on? And, of course, the trivia question. Here are some lighthearted stories that did not make the top headlines, but are still important enough to share. First up, in an unbelievable twist, a woman missing for over 60 years has been found alive. Audrey Backeberg disappeared from Reedsburg, Wisconsin back in 1962 at the age of 20. And over the weekend, authorities confirmed she's been located alive and well at 82 years old. The details behind her decades-long disappearance are still unfolding. In Miami, a luxury yacht made headlines for all the wrong reasons. A $4 million Technomar for Lamborghini yacht capsized Saturday near Star Island, stranding 32 passengers. Don't worry, everyone on board was rescued safely, but it was quite a scene on the water. Meanwhile, Wes Anderson fans, mark your calendars. His first ever museum exhibition opens this November at London's Design Museum. It'll feature over 600 curated pieces from his personal archives, including iconic costumes, intricate miniature sets, and stop-motion puppets. And finally, the world's sweet tooth may have gone a little too far. A viral chocolate out of Dubai featuring milk chocolate, pistachio cream, and crunchy knauf. I don't know if I'm saying that right because I've never had it. It's become so popular, it's reportedly contributing to a global pistachio shortage. You can see what the hype is all about by going to today's email edition of The Flyover. All right, it's my favorite time of the morning, the poll question and the answers. So let's go over yesterday's answers first. Here we go. Which TV game show would you most like to be a contestant on? 47% of you said none, ever. 19% said Wheel of Fortune. 11% said Jeopardy. Another 11% said Price is Right. 10% said Family Feud. And 2% said Other. I'm a bit surprised by this because isn't the point of game shows to imagine yourself winning? Don't you play along? You yell the answers at the TV. You know the answers to the questions on Wheel of Fortune, but the majority of you don't even want to compete? I am shocked, and I'll just tell you, I would, and Family Feud is my jam. Let's swing on over to today's poll question. I find this one really interesting. Do you find it morally acceptable to bet on who the next pope will be? Yes? No? Only if it's not for profit? Or people do that? I'm in the same boat as people do that. I had no idea people were betting on who the next pope will be. I thought the only thing we were supposed to watch was for the smoke, white for the pope, black for no. But I guess in the world of betting, anything goes because people gamble on celebrity breakups, Super Bowl weather, sports injuries, and even reality show meltdowns. So if it's uncomfortable or awkward, chances are someone's got odds on it. Personally, I don't mess with that kind of stuff. I like my conscience clean and my bets limited to harmless things like who's going to finish the last slice of pizza tonight. There's been a lot of talk about the Pope today, so why not have a trivia question about it as well? Who was the first Pope? The answer? The first Pope was St. Peter, one of Jesus' 12 apostles. He's considered the original leader of the church, and tradition says Jesus even called him the rock on which the church would be built. Peter preached in Rome and was later martyred and is believed to be buried under St. Peter's Basilica. After him came Pope Linus, the second pope in line. That's a wrap for today's Flyover Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your shows. Share it with a friend, a coworker, or anyone who could use a quick, smart take on today's headlines. And be sure to join me tomorrow. We're tracking the first day of the Papal Conclave, a new round of economic data, and yes, more eyebrow-raising headlines out of Washington. Until then, thanks for flying with us.